everybody, it's Doug here. Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to a new Mystic Eye Games playthrough. We're going to be playing Dungeon Crusade, but there's many different things you can do with the newly released Kickstarter edition of Dungeon Crusade. And one of those is play the Avalon Adventure board game. And what this you can play this or not. It is optional, but it leads your characters up to delving into the dungeons in the main game. And in this game, you are traveling around the land with your group of 6 heroes. You will explore areas, locations. You're trying to uncover some powerful magic gemstones that are going to release the curse on the dungeons so that you can enter them. There's a little backstory behind that. Now, this game is light, and it's basically random, very random luck game. That's okay, and it leads into the much larger Dungeon Crusade game. In this game, instead of setting up your character in some of the ways you would for just going right into the dungeon, you're going to use what you accomplished here and the items you gained here to take you into the full-blown dungeon adventure, which, by the way, is massive. So we're going to be playing the Avalon Adventure board game today while I'm learning the rules for Dungeon Crusade, and I just want to show you why that's a thing. You know, this is the rule book, by the way. It is a beefy. Even this little adventure game had a 6-page, like 5 or 6 page rule book, but the rest of it is all the big game. Now, some of it I probably will get to skip until time comes, like some of the gambling type games that are in the game and the markets and things like that. But I am digging into that rule book as we speak so I can learn the game, and in the meantime we're going to see how our characters fare. Now, we're going to have 6 characters to start. I'm going to talk about those just briefly. I'll show you one and show you some of the details. And frankly, I don't have this all down, so I'm probably going to have to look it up a lot while playing because there's a lot of iconography and without names, right? So we'll see. But we're going to talk about each one of the characters that we bring into the game. And I think in this episode I'll talk about a couple of them. We'll read their backstories, and then I'll do another couple of them in the next episode. I promise you there's going to be more than one episode. But we do get to gain cool loot from here, and the board is really pretty. It's nice. It's not a huge board because this is kind of like I said, a metagame, a game within the game, and it leads you up to the main exploration. So let's dive in. We're going to talk. The rules are super simple, so I'm not going to cover them at all. We'll just start getting into the gameplay, but we are going to cover our characters. So let's do that now. First up, we have Elwyn Shadowleaf. She's an elven archer, ranger. Now, this block of stuff right here we're not going to be using in the adventure game, the warfare section, but we will use our attributes, and frankly, I don't have them memorized as to what they are, so I'm just going to kind of get the book out and see if I can read them to you so you understand what the different statistics are in the game. And again, this is not the main game, though. We will use these statistics in the adventure game as well. I'm trying to find them. So, I mean, the rulebook is so dense, I have to keep glancing through things just to find little answers and stuff like that. Like, I'd really like, there should just be a thing that shows stats. And it's not that the rulebook is bad, by the way, it's not. It's very good, actually. It's so detailed that it requires a ton of review to make sure we have it right. So, actually, I'm going to have to pause for a second and come back to you, and I'm just going to tell you what these stats are. I'm going to talk about them once, and then we're going to move on. Okay, starting from the top left one, the flexing arm is obvious one. That's your hero strength bonus. Then the next one over is going to be your willpower bonus. The next one over from that is your wisdom bonus. It's kind of like, I guess, a person displaying wisdom. I don't know. Then the next one over from that, on the blue one there, is the agility bonus. Then right below that, you have your hero's movement die and score. Next to that, you have their hide bonus, their ability to sneak and hide. Wait, no. I think I got ahead of myself there. What is 13? 13 is, oh, this is how proficient your hero is with lock picking. Okay. And then right after that, number 14 is going to be your hide bonus. Then 14 is this one. Then 15 is that one. That's going to be your essence, your luck. The hero's essence and luck, which is, no, I'm sorry, man, I'm getting way out of line here with these. I'm just going to freaking show you. Okay, here we go. 8 is strength, 9 is willpower, 10 is wisdom, 11 is agility, that's our movement, so this is how our movement goes. 13 is how proficient we are with lockpicking, 14 is our hero's hide bonus, and 15 is our hero's evade bonus. Then 16, oh, that's our essence and luck down here. or sorry, essence track down here, and then the white circle indicates where the heroes start. And I have that already set up, so we're okay there. So it's strength, willpower, wisdom, agility, movement, which we're not going to use in this. Hide, evade, and evade. Yeah, those are the main stats. And the warfare stats we're not going to get into because we will not be using them in this part of the game. Okay, so Enwyn Shadowleaf is an archer, and she does have a backstory. This is where she comes from. Again, it won't matter in this version. And she does have some special abilities that we won't deal with in this version of the game either. It says, it began during an incredibly cold and long winter. Priests showed up with wagons full of food. Everybody believed this was salvation. But these priests were sent by the gods. And it was sent by gods. And what? Okay. Not the good gods of the forest, but some pantheon of evil gods willing to destroy every spark of life in Evergreen, which is where she's from. Evergreen Vale. Thousands of settlers took the priest's food, began to turn into demons that began attacking the remaining survivors. Only a few hundred people survived the slaughter. Enwyn survived because she had mastered her archery skill and was one of the best archers in all of Avalon. Looking at the surviving people of Evergreen, nearly every other person owed his or her life to Enwyn's commitment. Now, that means that Enwyn just got lucky and didn't eat the food, though, right? They choose Enwyn as their leader, and now she leads her rangers across the desolate area between the Tower of St. Victus and in the north and the Dungeon of Zool, south of Evergreen. Lately, Enwyn's wanderings have become larger and more significant. To fight back the demons that threaten Evergreen, she even entered the deep dungeon of Avalon to stop the evil at its root. Okay, so you get the idea. There's a lot of story in this game, and we're going to be playing through a lot of story as we explore the board. I'm not going to read all the backstories. Like I said, I'm just going to show you the characters, and we're going to look at them. So this is Sir Brennus Caterin. He's a knight. You see that he's a little stronger than the other character with the 2. Has a little more willpower than her with a 3. He does have wisdom. She didn't. Her score was a 1. She's a little more whatever this stat was. I can't remember already. She's a little more agile. Of course, that would make sense, being an archer. And you can see he doesn't pick locks at all. He has no stealth, and he can evade reasonably well, about the same as her. Okay, now these will come into play during the game, so that's why I'm showing them to you. Then we have Zeke Utar. He's a wizard. 0, of course. He's got a lot of willpower and a lot of wisdom. He's not that great. He's not that agile. He can't lockpick. He can hide a little bit, and he's got the same evasion rate as the other 2 characters. Okay. Then we have Elwyn Ganymede. She's a rogue, so obviously she's going to have high stats here, right? She gets a +2 in the lockpick. I don't know I have to determine what the +2 means over 2. 1 strength, 1 will, 0 wisdom, 3 agility, lots of movement, and these 2 abilities are pretty good. Okay, then we have the cleric. Now they do start with items, but they don't start with items in this game, in this version of the game. So Faith she's a cleric. Obviously she's going to have I thought she'd have a higher wisdom. Okay, well she's got a 2, and she doesn't do stuff well with stuff down here, but she does have a high willpower. So that's pretty good for her. And let's see here. Let's see what we got. Now, all these other stats that we would be using, we're not using them in this version of the game. So he's really strong, right? This guy is Melhilak. He's a barbarian. Very strong. Got a decent willpower. Not wise at all. Not particularly agile. Very bad at lockpicking, and not really particularly good at hiding. Those are going to be our characters, and the reason I have these numbered tokens on them is they're initiative tokens to determine what their number is when we roll dice to determine who's affected, right? And that's it. Now, we have this battle board, and really the only thing we use the battle board for is to determine who's fighting who, and they don't move around the board or anything. It's not like the big dungeon where you actually do move around quite a bit. So I think we're at a place where we're going to get started. I'm just going to dive right in. We're going to see how things roll out. And we're going to start our journey in Hope's Reach. So in the Avalon Adventure board game, you do move as a unit from location to location. The 6 characters you're playing always stay together, and you always play 6 characters. So we have some choices to make, and it looks like we're going to have to do some traveling. Now, we could get really lucky, and hopefully this or this is the right one and not this, because we could skip coming down here altogether until we get over to here. So we could go up and around. Seems like those are the more civilized areas, or we could go immediately into the Badland, some badder areas, and come down here towards the House of Demons, because, you know, that sounds good, right? But either way, we get to move 1. Now I have 2 choices I can move here. I cannot move to this space because there's no clear path there. So I can actually have 3 choices. I can move to Old Orchard Grove, the Dungeon of Ixal, and the Tower of St. Victus. I think we're going to move toward Old Orchard Grove, and we'll start to make our way around here. Let's just do that. So we're going to go to here, and then what we're going to do is there's this massive deck of cards. There's a card for each location. The good news is they are marked in their colors, so I'm going to go look for Old Orchard Grove, and we're going to see what happens when we encounter that space. Okay, so here is the encounter. Don't read ahead. Don't read ahead. Let it go. Here's the encounters card for Old Orchard Grove. We're going to roll a d12 to determine what happens to us there. So let's see what we get. We rolled a 5, so it won't be here. It won't be the battle. It's going to be over here. So 5 to 7. As the heroes are traversing the grove, they enjoy the cool shade of the massive green trees blocking the blazing sun above them. That's it. So we just chilled out. We traveled across the grove, and now we're moving on to a new location. Now, a couple things are going to happen there. First, we're going to put this down to show that this area has been explored by us. We've wandered through it once already. We can go back again, but we won't have as good luck as this time. All right, so then, because of this is there, and because we did explore the space, we get to see what this crystal is. And it is unfortunately not one of the crystals we're looking for, but here's the good news. Even these have a use to re-roll dice, if I'm not mistaken. I'm going to look that up, but I'm pretty sure in this game that is what they do for us. So I'll tell you what, yeah, recovering the blue runes. When you recover a blue rune, it can be used at any time to re-roll a die. Yeah, that's pretty good. So we'll have some use of that, but we didn't find the gem that we're looking for, so now we have to start moving. Do we come down this way? Do we come across this way? Well, I think what we'll do is, well, this will give us options. I think we'll move to Dungeon of Ixal next, because that'll give us options of going across or down, depending on what happens to us there. Either way, I don't know that it matters that much, but we're going to move there to the Dungeon of Ixal. Okay, here we go. We're going to roll our die, see what happens to us. We got an 11. I have a feeling that's good. We'll see. 10 to 12. Randomly select a hero. This hero has descended a small stairway in the dungeon and ventured into an overgrown alchemy chamber. Upon a shelf against the eastern wall, they discover 1d3 times 100 gold and a rejuvenation potion. That is fantastic. So, first off, let's roll a d6 and see which hero is going to be the one that ventured down the dungeon. Again, that's why we have these numbered tokens. I'll tell you who it is. 3 is going to be, well, this makes sense. Zeke Utar, our wizard, ventured down there and found a d6 times 100 gold, so 400 gold and a rejuvenation potion. This is the rejuvenation potion. Here's what it does. We can gain 3 health and 3 essence when consumed, but we haven't taken any damage. I'm just going to put that on his card for right now. I don't think it's his necessarily. I think it's the party's, but we'll figure that out. And then I got to get some money. Didn't think we need money in this. Here is the 400 gold that we collected there. Again, I know this seems really random. This is like this is kind of a game within the game. And then, of course, we have explored there, but there's no gem to look for. So if we go to... Now, the other thing, backtracking doesn't give you as good a result. Like there's not options for good stuff if you backtrack through the locations. So we want to try to avoid that. So I think we'll continue on to the ancient ruins. We'll head. Do we want to do that? Because we can get here. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2 moves there. But we're gonna have to circle. Okay, it's time. It's decision time. It's decision time. Of course, I'm not showing you any of this, am I? So the decision time is we block that off. The decision is, do we circle around this way or do we circle around this way? And do we even bother with White Brook? Now, White Brook does give us an option, and it might be good to go there just for the sake of going there. But we don't want to backtrack too much. So it's not that great to backtrack. So I think what we're going to do is we're going to move to the Temple of Evil. Really? That doesn't look too good, right? Our party, I think, will move to the Temple of Evil. As we head toward, we're going to get to knock out the worst places first. I don't know if that's a good idea at all, because then we're going to move on to the Cryptozilia, which is not looking like a nice place either. Or we can go down to the ancient ruins, or we can go down to White Brook. You know, White Brook, and then there's White Brook Forest East and White Brook Forest West and the Tower. Let's do this, because this gives us some options to choose. We're going to head to White Brook. We probably get something good there, so hopefully we do. Anyway, let's go draw that out. Okay, here we are at White Brook, the beautiful town of White Brook. It looks like a little village. There's a fountain in the middle of it, some nice building clustered around. What do we get? We rolled a 3, so we're not going to see battle again, but we did roll this one. As the heroes are walking through the busy streets of White Brook one afternoon, a very cunning rogue steals 1d6 times 100 gold from the heroes. Select which hero with the highest gold amount. Well, the only one that has any gold is Zeke. So let's see how much of that 400 gold that we just got gets taken from us. 200. So we lost half of the gold that we have acquired so far. And that will go there. We're done with that location, and we're moving on. Now, there's all kinds of different things that can happen in these locations. This just happens to be what we're rolling. And as you can see, we have marked this space. And now I have to choose, do I want to come around this way? That means we will be backtracking. Well, we can do this. We'll go to White Brook Forest, and then we'll come up this direction and circle around that way. Because again, if I get this one here, then I don't have to worry about, where's the other green one? Oh, we already drew it, right? The green one is the one we already drew. Where'd it go? I'm looking for it. Too much stuff already? Hold on. Oh, I put it up here. It's up here. Yeah, that was the green one, right? So let's put that down with the characters. So we have one green one already. So if this one turns out to be not the one we need, then we don't have to go back there at all. I think this is a wiser decision. So we have moved down to Westbrook Forest. Let me find that. That is going to be Westbrook Forest West. Ooh, the sun is coming right in on this board. I'm sorry. I think this will be our last turn so that I can let the sun move away from there. I don't have blinds in that particular part of my shed. So anyway, let's roll and see what comes up. We rolled a 5. We're just really being mediocre. So we rolled a 5. It says, through some dense fog and tree branches, the heroes can make out a few blackwood prowlers feasting upon their prey. They tread lightly to avoid detection. Okay, so we have made it through Westbrook Forest. We found these prowlers. We avoided them, and then we gain this token, which is, by the way, the token that we need, I believe. Yes. So we have found our green our green gem. We got that, and that means now we don't have to go here at all. That is great. So maybe we can, if we get lucky here, we do the same thing here and don't have to go down to the south part of the board. Let me show what I'm talking about. So yeah, we don't have to go here, and we may not have to go here if we get lucky with one of these two. So that was a good move. We found the first of our gems, though we're not getting any stuff. We're rolling so mediocre. We're just wandering around through the idyllic landscape thinking this is such a, well, look, there's some monsters. We're just going to avoid them. And we did that. So, because we don't really get the option to charge and attack them. So right now we just have 1 rejuvenation potion and 200 gold. I hope that's not the way this ends up for us. Anyway, let's stop there for now. We're going to end this episode there. I do need to mark. White Brook is marked. Okay, we already got it marked as a location we've explored. And in the next episode, we'll continue our trek through the lands of Avalon, exploring the different landscapes that we have and seeing if we can gather some loot and stuff while finding these really powerful gems that unlock the curse that will allow us to enter the dungeons. Be nice to get in a fight, though, wouldn't it? I agree. So hopefully we do. Talk to you in the next episode. Thanks, take care, and I'll see you soon.